Okay, so let me just turn on my camera first. So, good afternoon, everyone. I formally welcome you to this session on a hands-on experience of how to analyze the Indian economy and where to see the data from. Now, the representative from the editorial department will introduce Nikita, but just informally doing so, I just wanted to share it. It's an incredibly proud moment for me per se, because around 2 years ago, when Nikita was in Delhi School of Economics, she was hosting my event for a budget session when I was giving a lecture at Delhi School of Economics, and it's my honor now, and I feel incredibly proud that I have the honor to introduce Nikita, who's also a pass out of Gargi, to the college. So congratulations, Nikita, for this amazing feat, and you know that there is still a mile to go.
Thank you, sir.
Diksha, you may.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. We are here to learn how to read and analyze data on Indian economy and much more. You are requested to keep your cameras on and also keep a pen and paper for your convenience. You can ask away your questions in the chat box and we'll address them later. Joining us today is Ms. Nikita Jain, who is an Indian Economic Service Officer, currently undergoing her training at Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, Missouri. She studied economics from Gargi College and later went on to pursue post-graduation from Delhi School of Economics. She secured 4th rank in the IES exam. She has also worked as a junior economist at Morgan Stanley in the Equity Research Department. Having a wide range of experiences, her knowledge expands variably in these fields. I hereby welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nisha. It's been a pleasure to be invited to my own college, and I feel great to see all of you here attending the session. I'll try my best to be of any help for you. I'm assuming that most of the students here are from economic honors. I was there in your shoes a few years ago, very recently, I would say. So I can completely understand the subject and can understand how you might be feeling about the subject. So let's see if we can do something and make your interest for the subject more good in the subject itself. So let's start. I'll share my presentation. So a few housekeeping rules is that you can turn off your video now because I'll be sharing my presentation. So if there's an interaction, you can turn it on. Otherwise, it'll be better if you turn it off so that we don't get buffering for the other students. Second is that if there are any questions, I would say that you can put it in the chat box or raise your hand. And even if you like something, you can just put it so that I will be, to just make it more interactive. You can put any comments if you want, and don't try to, it's not a lecture, I would say. I am also a student learning. I'm just sharing my experience with you guys. So you can ask questions whenever, and at the last also, I will have some time for the question itself. So without much ado, let's start. I'll just share my presentation. Just give me a minute. Can you guys see the presentation? Can somebody unmute themselves and tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will first briefly take you through the outline as if what are we going to do for the next 1 hour. So first of all, I'll talk about my experience with the subject itself, economics. Then second, we'll go on to why the data is important and why do we so much harp on the importance of data as per our subject. Second is then a third is we'll go through some reports. I'll show you that how the data has been used for economic analysis and how data visualization is done. Then we'll go on to the sources of this data, which will be taking the most part of our lecture. And then we'll go to an hands-on exercise where I guess you guys have already received some material of a simulation exercise. So we'll see that how this exercise can be done. And last part would be the question part. So firstly, I think that economics as a subject cannot be just read through books. you should not restrict yourself just to the theoretical part of it. You should have a dynamic bent of mind, in the sense that you should always be very much updated with what is going on in the current economy. So I would suggest you to have a stronghold on the current affairs about the Indian economy and as well as the global economy. What is going on in the US market? What is going on in the US economy? How does it impact to the Indian economy? And you can in fact link these concepts which you are reading in the class with the current dynamic things. So I remember making a project when China was devaluing its currency, and we were reading the BOB model in macroeconomics class. So I remember making a project on that. So do such innovative things, it will help you in the subject. Then the second thing would be that analytical skills are very important if you want to go ahead in this subject, which will require you to have a lot of reasoning and qualitative assessment as well as quantitative techniques. So as you know that data is becoming a very important deal in the current scenario, and you need to have these quantitative skills in terms of learning new software such as R, Excel, Python. So these can be some side-by-side skills which you can be doing the courses online. Right now it's very easy for you guys to have these online courses and keep a tap on these skills. They may come handy in the longer run. Third would be the data visualization skills. This is important because I think economics, we deal a lot with the trends in the different macroeconomic indicators or the high frequency data, such as we will see that how the data has been behaving the past 10 years or maybe 20 years. So these visualization skills in data speak more than the words. So it is very important that your mind actually see what types of graphs and charts would be made out of the particular data. Last is that obviously you need to have interest in economics to love it. So that's the given thing. Now let's come on to this part, that why data is important and why does it matter. Can you become a good economist without dealing a lot with the data? So my answer would be you would be a stale economist then, and I don't even know that if somebody is going to call you an economist. So data is actually the new oil, which has been said by so many people, because as the economies, as the current globalized scenario is working, evidence-based policy making is coming into scenario, which means that you need to have facts. You can't just give out opinions without any particular evidence. So for that evidence, you need data. You need to corroborate your precise opinions with the facts, which will come out of the data. So don't undermine the importance of data as such. It might sound sometimes tedious, but it's actually enjoyable. Even I remember that when I was in Gargi and I was in college, I used to hate data. I mean, that was a level which I had. I did not ever enjoy opening Excels and all. But later in years, when I started using Excel more often, and I started liking it more because it was much easy to visualize things and bring out a fact out of those graphs and charts. So it becomes interesting. You can even start learning among yourselves, among as a friends. Basically, you can make a group and then take out these projects and all, which will help you to develop the skills. I will show you some reports from some different banks, I would say, and mutual fund companies, which come out with these monthly reports, which will give you a sense of how the data can be analyzed and what exactly do we do out of it. So I'll just show you some reports. Let me know if you're able to see the report or not. Are you able to see the report?
Uh, no, Nikita, I'm not able to see your presentation or your report.
Oh, is it the scene with everybody? I was thinking that everybody can see my report.
No, we
No,
are
You
able
can't see
to.
my presentation.
Yes, we can see it.
Nikita, can you stop the screen
Representing.
sharing and start again?
Okay, I'll do it.
I think that refreshment will, I think, will work.
I'll do it, sir.
Hmm.
Uh, Now can you see it, sir?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay.
Just a second. Yes, it's
Yeah.
visible.
Okay, so this is a report from one of the banks where we are going to see that how the economy will just come on to the economy part. So here it is. So here you can see a heat map of the high frequency data indicators. I will stop for a minute here just for you to see how the data has been represented. Take a minute, imbibe what is here. You can see manufacturing PMI. These are the different indicators here on the left hand side. And this is a timeline. And this here is the heat map, which shows you that how the data has been behaving over the months from January 20 to September 20. And we can see that how the corona impact here, April, which is completely red, which we can see that there was a corona impact, and then how the economy now is coming back into the green. So this is how you don't have to go into the details of how we had made it, but first my purpose is to show you that this is how it is represented. So these are the indicators which we use as the high frequency data indicators to see in what direction the economy is going. So why do we need these indicators? First thing is that the GDP data which we get comes with a lag of 2 months, and it is a quarterly data. I am assuming that you would know that. So for as an economist and a policy maker, we have to know what is going on currently and what happened in the past month. So the frequency has to be very high. So for those things, these are the indicators which give you for a month, on a monthly basis or even a weekly basis. So these are the indicators: service PMI, manufacturing PMI, exports, GST collections, which is a very good way to see how the economy is going. Then there is vehicle registrations. And you can also see that this data is being provided in a percentage YOY format. So this is basically year-on-year growth rate. So what you have done is that you have here January 20 over January 19, you have tried to analyze what was the year-on-year percentage growth. So this is what this whole chart represents. Let's see some other graphs as well. So in the report here, we are seeing the supply side indicators of different variables. These are the demand side indicators: petrol consumption, domestic passenger flows. And don't worry, I'll be talking about the sources of the data also. But first, just look at how it has been represented. This is a GST collection also, which shows that how the economy has been reviving up after the corona incident. After the lockdown, basically, the corona incident still not over. These are the manufacturing PMI and the 3 month moving months average. I'll now run through a little bit. Let's see some other report also. Let me know if you can't see the presentation whenever. I'm assuming that you all can see.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So here you can see that another bank's report where they have tried to analyze different countries. There's an international comparison with US, Japan, China, Indonesia, Germany. So I'm just trying to show you that how the analysis is being done. These charts show you the different trends in the COVID as well as the impact of COVID on the economy. These are some line charts, a dot map, simple bar graphs, tables. I'm just pausing here so that you guys can look at it. Another heat map which shows you the percentage growth rate in the high frequency data indicators. Here the way it's done is that they have tried to see in the urban and the rural scenario and the overall business activity. I will also show you the one most accessible report which you guys can actually monthly read it. It's the Ministry of Finance report. So you can basically, what I've done is you just Google monthly economic report. This is uploaded by the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance. and you will land up on this page. It will ultimately open to this this monthly report, October 2020. So every month there's a different theme here, and there's a different analysis which you can see and get inspired for your own projects and reports. It's a state-wise analysis also a lot of the times, and some policy analysis as well. It's the most accessible report. I would say the other reports of the banks might not be accessible to you guys. So look for sources which are readily accessible and do not charge a fees. So I am assuming that you now have a broad overview idea of basically what a report might look at. Now we'll come on to the data sources of these reports. So you saw a lot of indicators, high frequency data indicators, and as well as some monthly and bi-monthly indicators which were there in the reports. So how do we actually get the data? So first of all, I would like to tell you that there are two types of data sources. First can be the open sources. Second are the closed sources. So what do I mean by the open sources? Open sources, I would consider the ones which are easily available and you don't need a login or any sort of a subscription to these sources. They're free of cost. Such as whatever in the slide I've mentioned it here are all the open sources, keeping in mind that you guys might not have access to the closed ones. The closed sources would be the ones which require some monthly subscription or an yearly fees, such as Bloomberg, CMIE, which is the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, CEIC, and such data aggregators, I would say, which incur some fees, but then all these sources collect the data from the government websites and collate it in one place. We are not going to talk much about the closed sources. We will be talking about the open sources. So there are some dates here. Your pen and paper might come handy. I would say I would be telling you when and how this data can be accessed. So first of all, we'll go with the month start. The timeline I'm telling you that when this data is released by the government and when does it come out in the market. Some of the data might be private sector data also. So on the first of every month, sir, is my speed okay?
I guess yes. Is there an issue with anyone with the speed, guys?
Okay, I'll assume. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So you can note down the dates if you want to tap on these data releases. So first of every month is the manufacturing PMI, Purchasers Managers Index, which you go and see on the IHS market website. I will show you right now. Also on the 3rd of every month, services PMI and the composite PMI comes out. So to read more about the indexes, if you're not aware what is PMI, I would suggest you to write it down now. And once I am done with the lecture, you go on and do some research about it. What you can do is that you can directly go to the IHS market website. These all are the open sources. This is the PMI website. It is this month. This is a monthly release which is done by the IHS. Here you go, you see the data, you'll go to the website and then you go to the PMI releases. And the November month, I'll go on to first maybe. For India, it is first of every month. But I'm assuming that because first was a holiday, it would have come on second. So here you can see the IHS market India manufacturing PMI. Here we go on to it, and this is the report which is there. And see here, you can see that manufacturing activities actually picked up in the month of October. So this is how you can actually read the report maybe, or just analyze it through the graphs which are being given. You can even create your own Excel if you want to trap it monthly. Just keep your Excel files ready and just update it whenever it comes. So this was the manufacturing PMI, and similarly, you can also go for a services PMI from here on the same website. the first of the month also gives you the GST collections, which is a very important indicator of the economy, because it actually tells you that how many transactions are being happening, and people are filling in the tax. So it gives you a direction of the economy at least. So this GST collections data is released on PIB on every first of the month. I'll just show you how to actually access this data.
Nikita, could you explain the students about PMI, what PMI is?
So purchasers managers index will tell you about the business activity. It has some sub indexes, such as basically how many people are registering the firms closures for manufacturing. I'm talking, what were the sales growth, what was the output. So all these things are taken into consideration of forming an index, which is the PMI. And then there is a mark which is 50 mark. It basically, it is a relative performance. If your PMI for the month is above 50, we are assuming that the economy is in the expansionary zone. And if you say that your PMI for a month was below 50, then we are assuming that for that particular month, the economy has gone into the contraction zone. So it's like a relative measure, we can say, of the business activity. And similarly for the services, it has some sub indicators which will show you that which direction. So more than focusing on the number, I would say this gives a better sense of the direction of the economy. Is it contracting? Is it again contracting for the month, or is it now expansion in an expansionary zone? So that, I think, gives you an idea. PMI gives you an idea for it. So as I was telling you about the GST collections data, which comes on PIB, sorry. What you can do is just Google the pib.gov.in, go to this website, go to the press release here, enter the date whichever you want to. Because it's GST collections, we'll enter the first of every month. See, it was posted on 1st November, 11 a.m. by PIB. Here is the data if you want to see. For the GST collection, it also gives you the CGST, which is a central goods and service tax, as well as the state and the IGST. You can get an idea of how it has been distributed if you want to make some project or just want to analyze like that. You can see for this month, for the October month, it actually went above the 1 trillion mark. And there are even the graphical representation is given in the itself. You don't even want to make a graph. You can just see from here. There is a table-wise collection status also given on the PIB website, which is here, which can give you an idea of the analysis if you want to do. It's a good source. This is it about the GST collections every month first. So then the other mid of the month we get other indicators, which is the index of industrial production, IIP. You all must have been aware about it. And then there is some inflation indicators, which is the consumer price inflation and the wholesale price index, consumer price index, and WPI and CPI. Basically, both these indicators are actually at the statistics website, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. I'll just open this and show you how to get this data. I am assuming that you guys are noting down the sources, because later on it becomes too much of information to remember. So it's better to note it down. Just a minute. I think internet is taking some time too. Can you see the statistics website? Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we have landed up on the website here, and in the press release section, you see that you can see your press release on new CPI for October 2020. I'll just open this file and show you how can we. There's also quick estimates of IIP based 2011-12 for month of September. So you will see that for IIP, it comes actually with a 2-month lag, whereas the CPI comes with a 1-month lag. You will get CPI for October, but IIP for September. There are other reports also which keeps on coming. So you just have to keep on checking these websites for any sort of data if you need. So this is the date of the release of IIP is 12th of every month, in case if there is no holiday. Otherwise, it comes on the previous working day if 12th is a holiday. So IIP data, Index of Industrial Production, this gives you basically that how the industry of an economy is working. There are some 8 core industries data which also comes at the end of the month, but it is a 40% of the IIP is basically made up of those 8 core industries, which include your fertilizers, other such industries, which constitute 40% of it. The rest of it are other consumer durables, non-durables, etc. Primary capital. So use-based classification is there, and another one is, I think there are 2 classifications which both the data here is given. So this is the index data. For your purpose, what you have to do is that you have to calculate it on the YOY basis. So here you can just calculate March. You can take this month and then you can calculate YOY by subtracting it from the previous year's March data and dividing it by March. So that will give you a YOY sort of a analysis basically. This was the IIP data. I've also opened the CPI one. CPI data is here. It is also coming on 12th November. The press release is embargoed against publication on internet till 5:30 p.m. today. That is 12th November. So these are the fixed dates when you get these data. Only if there is a holiday or a public, basically a weekend or a public holiday, then these dates are shifted. Otherwise, it comes on the same date every month. So CPI you get in form of the urban inflation, rural inflation, and the combined inflation month on month, year on years, both. To go more into the detail of CPI, I think you should be aware of the basket of the goods which CPI constitutes. Only if you are making a project or something, I think this detailed analysis is required. Otherwise, you can just go for the main headline inflation rate. But I'm still showing you this data so that for any sort of analysis or project, you can take the data from these open sources. It's very handy. Okay. WPI also you get on the same website of Ministry of Statistics here itself. So I'm not opening that. It's similar exercise as we've done this. Now we'll go to the end of the month. The mid of the month we've covered. There is trade data also, which is very important. Every 16th of the month, the trade data comes out if it's not a holiday, and you can get it from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. I think this is the most important, one of the most important ones, which you might have. You might actually need it a lot, because all your export imports data as well as your BOP CAD, which is a current account deficit, all this will come handy. So you go to this website of commerce.gov.in. As soon as you enter the website, just scroll through it. There is this section of foreign trade performance analysis. I'll be a bit slow that you can write it down, or you may just put it in the chat if you want me to wait, or if I'm going too fast, or any such comment. So this is a foreign trade performance analysis. We'll click on this. So here we come on to this subsection of the website, which shows you system on foreign trade performance analysis. Here the data has been divided into commodity group wise, region wise, country wise. So what we'll do is, today I'll show you that how to search for a region wise analysis. I want to see that what India has been exporting to other countries. So I'll go to this region X country wise data. Now I have to see that export of India. So I am clicking on export. I want to see it for the last, maybe September 2020. I want to see it in rupees. So I'll just submit this and wait for it to buffer. So this will give me the April to September cumulative data. You have to always, first thing which you should see is what are the heads, what the data is saying. Do not just jump on the data thinking it is something else. You have to first see what it is showing and then get into it. So this is the cumulative April to September data, which is India's exports to these different regions and countries. If you want to do any sort of an analysis, you can just import this file into an Excel sheet. You have an option here. You can actually import it. This data is in rupees. You can also have it in USD dollars if you are trying to compare or do any PPP sort of an analysis or anything for other countries also, if you're international comparison. So you can just do it in dollars, it will be better. So this is one of the very important data sources. You can play with this a lot. There are many different things you can do it here. You can just import. You can focus on the imports as well. You can have different months data and just suppose if I want just September data. So what I'll do is I'll minus August data and the September data. I'll get the September data. How? Because the August will give me April to August data. September will give me April to September, which is a cumulative data. So I just have to subtract the both rows to get the September data individually. I hope I was clear with that. So for the commodity group wise, I'm not showing you, but you can yourself go and play with these data sources. You just get into this group wise commodity, and then there you can see what has been the trend in the oil exports, oil imports, or any other, like India is famous for engineering goods exports, and what has been the trend for the past few months, what was the impact of COVID on the export. So all of this analysis can be done from the data sets which are easily available here. So I think this would be one of the most important data sets available. Now, if I go on to the next one, which is end of the month. Okay, so every 30th of the month, you get the government accounts data, which is the tax expenditure and the other fiscal variables, the revenues data, the fiscal deficit data on a monthly basis. So the source of the data is Controller General of Accounts, which is under the Ministry of Finance, CGA. So you have to, basically the website is cga.nic.in. I will just open it in front of you to show you once. To be on the safer side, I already hyperlinked all of my things so that in case the internet doesn't work, so I will have the hyperlinks. Okay, this is opened. So cga.nic.in, this is the website where you get all the fiscal variables. So once you land up on this website, scroll through it, go on to the monthly accounts section here, monthly accounts. I will just select randomly a month, maybe July 2021, because it's the fiscal year. I'll go on to go. Also keep always remember that what data do you want. Today it's 21st November. I can't be looking for a November data. It will come with a lag. So I have to keep in mind that what month, what exactly I am looking for. So always have that in mind. So once I've landed up here, okay, so here you can see that the fiscal accounts details have been given out here. These are the budget estimates and the actuals up to July 2020, the revenue receipts. You can even go into the further details of how this has been distributed. I'll just show you once you go through this. Revenue expenditure, the capital expenditure of the government, fiscal deficit, the revenue deficit. And if I want to go into that where the government has been spending in terms of capital expenditure, I'll just click on the capital expenditure part. So here, if you see, this is the revenue receipts part. Sorry, not the expenditure. Now we have come to the capital expenditure here. So you see that monthly data has been given here for both the fiscal years, the current one and the previous fiscal year. Now, under the capital expenditure, various subheads will be also listed here. If you want to do an analysis of how and where the government has been spending, what is the trend, you just have to import these data into an Excel file and start your analysis. So it's very easy to get this data, fiscal deficit data also. You can do an analysis on a monthly basis that how the fiscal deficit has been behaving, especially because we have been listening a lot that the government has been spending and the 3 stimulus have been given. So what was the impact on the deficit for that month or maybe in the coming months? You can see all of that from this data. So this is also one of a very comprehensive data sets, I would say, when it comes to the fiscal variables. I'll just close it. I think you can play around with it a lot because there is so much scope. You can go into details of each of these. You can even see the ministry-wise expenditure details, which will come under this revenue expenditure. You can just go into it and see ministry-wise which ministry is getting how much, what are they doing with it. All of these details will be given on this website. So, okay, let me ask you guys that how many of you have actually used any of these data sources which I mentioned till now? Can say anybody can put it in the chat box or just to see that you guys are not sleeping and you are listening to me. Just put it in the chat box if how many of you have used these data sources or if you haven't used any of it. Haven't used before. Okay. So it might be good for you to have so much information then. Okay. Shrishti, Shreya, Sanjana, nobody has used it. Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming that I didn't know a lot when I was in Gargi at that time. Third year tak aate aate thoda pata chal jata hai, but it's good that you guys are having this exposure quite in time. It'll help you. Okay, thank you for the responses. We'll go on to the monetary variables after talking about the fiscal ones. So when it comes to the monetary variables, there are policy rates, there are foreign reserves, money stocks, there are many variables which you might be needing for your analysis. So the best website for it, which is an open source, is the Reserve Bank of India. I think the way they have structured the data, the way they are presenting it, and it's so easily accessible that it is the best place to go for any sort of a fiscal variable. Even some of the monetary variables, even some of the fiscal variables are available here. So I'll show you how to access. You just go to the RBI website, rbi.org.in. This is the most important website, I would say, because here you will get it in very less time. The updation happens very frequently. So if there is suppose a monetary policy report or if there is a bi-monthly monetary policy committee meeting, all the links of the video of the report, the minutes of the meeting, everything is available on this website. So we'll just take 2-3 minutes to go through this website and glance through it. So we are here landed up on the RBI website. You can see here the current rates. You can see the policy rate. You just click it and you at one click you can see what is the current policy repo rate, what is the reverse repo rate, the bank rates, MSFR, the exchange rate. If you want to go into detail, the reserve ratios. Apart from that, you can see here what's new. This will give you whatever notifications the RBI has been giving. They even have these monthly reports. This you can see, I am hoping you guys can see this RBI Bulletin November 2020. So this is a monthly sort of economic analysis which RBI comes up with. This time it has been a lot in the news. I am hoping that you guys are aware of the new terms which was now cast by RBI, which is basically a type of a forecast for the near term, which RBI has come up in this Bulletin November 2020. So this gives you a state of the economy. There are different chapters, and if you read, it's a worth reading exercise. And if you don't want to do it alone, if it is becoming too tedious, you as a group you can ask your friends to divide the chapters and then you can teach each other. It can be an interesting exercise to undertake. So this is how the report is here. You can even download it in the PDF form from here. I'll not focus much on this. I'll let it for you to explore. Let's go on to the data part. So here you also see these research and data and other tabs. In the monetary policy section, I want to focus here for a minute. Here you can actually see what is the target. You want to know anything about the monetary policy, you can go to this section. The overview will give you the whole interest rate inflation targeting index, the act, the RBI act, all these things will be here. The monetary policy statements will give you the recent minutes as well as what was the government address to the media. This is important because you get a sense. This RBI governor's address will give you every 2 months. This happens, the bi-monthly MPC. This will give you the forecast, the inflation, the GDP, all the data in one place, all the high frequency data indicators. So I think this, if somebody asked me to recommend this one document to read, to get an idea of, to be updated by what is going on in the Indian economy, I would suggest reading the governor's address and the MPC report, because this will be very comprehensive. All the indexes, all the forecast, everything will be stated in one place. So this can be a very handy document if anybody wants to read. So all the details are here. Even for the next coming up meetings also, all the notifications are given here itself. I'll go back. So you can explore more on this particular section, monetary policy. Then you go on to the statistics part here, statistics. I want to see database on Indian economy. I'll just click it. Let it open. Till then, I'll be just, I already have an open tab. Once I get into the statistics part, I will go to the publications, then weekly publications, and then there is weekly statistical supplement. I know you might be thinking कि इतना लिखना पड़ रहा है, मतलब इतना ज़्यादा कैसे पता चलेगा, कैसे? So trust me, once you get on the website, open it yourself, and if you have a specific target in your mind that what data are you looking for, you will get it. So do not think that it's very tedious. It's very easy. You can directly Google type also if sometimes you're not able to find it on the website. So just Google it. Google might take you directly to that subsection inside the website. So that helps. So here you can see that in this weekly statistical supplement, which obviously from the name itself, we know it comes every week on a Friday, it gets updated. So here you see that the total reserves of the RBI are updated. What has been the constituents of the reserves in terms of SDRs, gold, foreign currency assets, etc. I'm not going into much detail. I'm just telling you the source of this data. What do you have to do about it? Is that you can, weekly, you can analyze it for past 3-4 months and just take every week's data and put it in a Excel sheet and analyze that what has been happening to our reserves. Is it that the RBI has been intervening too much to manage the our exchange rate? So what is the impact of it on the reserves? Is it using the reserves, or is there no impact? So all these such analysis will help you from this data. Then there are some monetary stock components also, which here on the 6th subhead, you can see all these data sources. I'm not going much into the detail of it again, because I'm not even sure that if you've read all these things in theory or not. So this is the weekly supplementing. Other than that, also, I think this RBI will have a lot of this data in terms of, we've landed up on this website, IIP monthly data, all these indicators. Here also you're getting it. It's very easy to access. You might get monthly basis का पूरा 5-6 साल का data एक साथ. So you don't have to cull each month का data हर महीने. यहाँ से एक साथ तुम्हें पूरे साल का data मिल सकता है. So this is a very good website. I think RBI will be the best one to see at different indicators. You want to see a WPI, you want to see GDP data also is here. So all these data, CPI data is here. So you can just explore this particular more, I would say. You have a lot. Even the states data is there. The public debt statistics are also here. If you see public debt statistics, here you can see state-wise fiscal deficit. You can analyze which state is spending more, and all of it can be analyzed from this particular section. I will now wrap up the RBI section because I think I've spent too much time on it. I will leave it again on you to explore this website more. And all of these data sets are importable in Excel. It's very easy. You can just copy paste, or usually there is a section which will help you import and import the data as an Excel sheet. So you just have to save it on your desktop. So we're done with the RBI thing. Now I would come on to some high frequency data indicators. So I'm not sure. I think I'm running on time, so I'll just leave to open it. I'll just share the links, etc., but I'll not open it. E-way bills give you a sense of again economic activity. कितने bills कट रहे हैं तुम्हें बता देंगे कि कितना ज़्यादा economic activity हो रही है. अभी जैसे lockdown था तो obviously as a layman also you can assume that e-way bills कम होंगे because the goods का transportation would be less. But now as the unlock activities are happening, the e-way bills will start now again. So to analyze this, there is this Goods and Services Network website, GSTN. I will just tell you the website name so that you can just write it down. gstn.org, I guess. So this gstn.org.in. On this website, you can just track the e-way bills. See here, just go scroll through. See here, if you come GST system statistics, here you can see different statistics in terms of कितने invoice थे, कितने e-way bill थे. तो ये सब मतलब you can go into detail and see कि monthly basis पे क्या हो रहा है. So इसमें analyze करने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. The graph is already here. You just have to track it कि क्या चल रहा है. Okay, then there is this fuel consumption data in terms of how our economy is, how much fuel is consumed. Why these data indicators are important, I would say, because you get a sense of direction. Suppose I, as an economist, as an economic officer, in fact, I'm saying that I want to suggest the government कितना stimulus देना है. तो अब इसके लिए मुझे पहले ये तो पता होना चाहिए ना कि इकोनॉमी कितना चल रही है, how much economy is back to the market, and how still people needs a hand holding in terms of opening up. So I can just see ki diesel petrol kitna consumption start hua wapas. This will give me a sense of an idea ki okay, if the diesel petrol consumption levels are suddenly spiking up, that means that people are now coming out and the economic activities again taking its shape. So all these analysis can be done from here. Then there is this Google Mobility Report, which is also very good indicator in terms of saying that mobility kitna increase ho raha hai economy mein. You just Google it. I'm not opening it. I have links. I will share this presentation also, so it will be easy. Otherwise, you just Google Mobility Report and you will just find it out. So I'm not opening it now. I'll just skip through it. Come on to the other important ones. Okay, so bi-monthly, you have to also keep in mind the timelines. I was telling you the timelines when I was mentioning the data before, that what comes in the initial month, what comes in the middle month, and what at the end of the month. There are some data such as MPC reports which come bi-monthly. I have already told you about this, and I've already shown you how to access the monetary policy reports from RBI website. So I'm not going to repeat it. We'll come on to the quarterly data sets, which is the most important, which is the GDP, our gross domestic product, and the GVA data sets. So both of these data sets are actually accessible from Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. You just have to open the website mospi. Which we already saw. Let me just open this website. Okay, here when you go, when you see here, basically, just a minute. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just Google Even sometimes I forget did I get the GDP. Okay, we'll not wait till it opens. We'll see the other sets and then we'll come back. Okay, so here it is. We've come on the same website. Here, if you see, there is a huge range of the GDP data, state-wise quarterly estimates at the constant prices, at the current prices, which means the real and the nominal GDP. All of it can be accessed as a series from here. So if you see here on the right hand side, most important, you will see so many classifications and so many other data sets. ASI होता है एक एनुअल सर्वेज जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में क्या चल रहा है वो बताता है. There are other IIP releases and everything. So basically, you have to keep in mind the source, which is the MOSPI, which is the statistics website for GDP. So for Indian GDP, I will also show you some interesting places to access GDP of India as well as other countries, which is IMF का World Economic Report and the World Bank. So the data figures may vary. Always keep in mind that you can't just match कि मतलब World Bank पे तो इतना दिखा रहा था और IMF पे इतना दिखा रहा है, because the methodology which they follow are different. So the data values might also be different. Here is the World Economic Outlook report. This is released twice in a year, once in April, once in October, released by IMF. Once you come onto this page, you can see this IMF में publications में WEO में जाके. I have opened the October edition, which is the latest. You just go to the October 2020 database. Here you come by country. Here you just have to put some entries. Suppose I want India and maybe China. I will just go into emerging and developing Asia. Select it. Clear all. I will choose China and India. And I'll just continue. Now they will ask me what I want. So here I can specify if I want GDP on constant prices in national currency or a percentage change. So all of these options you have for any project where you have international comparison, you have to come to the World Economic Outlook report or World Bank. So these two, I'm not opening it because I've just shown you how to access it. You just have to click it. Then an Excel will get opened. You just import it and save it. And you can start your analysis. So this is the IMF World Economic Database, which will be very handy to compare internationally GDP, inflation, national savings, investments, even other trade volumes. So there are many things: population, unemployment rate, government finances, all of this can be accessed. So just my suggestion is just come onto this website, explore this a bit and just play around with it on Excel. The next one will be World Bank. Again, I'm not opening it. It is very similar to the IMF pattern. You just go, enter the country which you want, enter the data which you want, and just import it in an Excel. So I think I've done with the data sources, the most important ones. Now I will just tell you some tips which as a graduate student might help you, because now I am into, I've worked and then come on to the service also. It is easier for me to have these accessible sources. But if I remember my student days, there are some tips which I would want to tell you, which will help you. The first would be that you develop a habit of newspaper reading. So just tell me how many of you are reading newspapers. Just put it in the chat box. I'll just see how many of you do read a newspaper. Okay, very nice. Shreya, Harshita, Muskan. Okay, so there are many people who are reading newspapers. That's a great thing. I appreciate it. It's a very good thing. You can also actually develop it if you are still not reading it. You can go for Business Standard, Mint, Economic Times. Hindu and Indian Express so hai, but if you want some economics heavy newspapers, you can go for these. And not for newspapers even, you can just download the app and read on your phone whenever you get time during the classes. Just read it. Then I would be telling you some names of some economists. Okay. On LinkedIn, which you can follow, because these guys do post something very recent or something which is in news. They do post it on the LinkedIn profiles with the economic analysis and data and charts. So it can be helpful for you guys. Also, I just forgot to mention something which was very important, that whatever reports which I showed you initial part of the presentation, the SBI and the Kotak ones, so these reports have propriety. What does that mean? So suppose when I was working in Morgan Stanley as a junior economist, whatever report I was publishing, I couldn't, even I did not have the right on that report. Company had a right on it. So you cannot just copy paste from these reports. You cannot just cut copy the charts and paste it in your projects and use it anywhere you want, because they have a copyright of the company. So the only thing which you can do is that you can learn from it and replicate it, but you cannot copy it. So just keep that in mind. I wanted to mention it beforehand, but I just forgot. So I'm mentioning it now. Now, some economist names which I've given you, I'm not sure if it's visible or not. Soumyakanti Ghosh, Nikhil Gupta, Sanjana Kadyan. I will just show you one of the profiles also. I just kept it open. So she's also a senior of ours in the Civil Services, Indian Economic Service, Sanjana Kadyan. She with Tulsi Priya Rajkumari, she keeps on posting very recent economic analysis. So you can see her website. I think she tweets also. I'm not on Twitter, but if somebody of you are on Twitter, you can follow her. Apart from her, there is Soumya Kanti Ghosh, who is also posting a lot. So you can follow them and just follow more economists like that who keep on posting. And the last tip would be talking economics. What does that mean? So by this, I mean that whenever you are having this discussion among the friends or teachers, try to use factual data. Try to quote, okay, so this is what the economic activities, instead of saying the economic activities picking up, you can just say that, okay, I just saw the purchases managers index PMI, which was released recently, which is showing that the monthly last month's data is improved. We have actually entered into the expansionary zone. So try to change a bit in vocabulary. I am just suggesting to the people who actually want to learn the subject and want to get on with the subject in future. It will actually help you a lot. In fact, with me, I would say that I never did it consciously, but it happened to me over the years, maybe because I was spending a lot of time with the subject, but it happened with me. So this part here is the data visualization part. I will just quickly, I think, okay, just tell me how many of you have the exercise with you. Put it on
Nikita,
your
I've sent
chat.
it.
You
I've
sent it?
Yes, I've sent it.
Okay. So I will just open the exercise first. I will just show you. Okay. So this is a simulation exercise which everybody of you have received. This is for you to do it completely. I will just show you first question, and I will open the Excel and show you how to do it. The rest of the part is for you to do it with your friends and discuss it. So you are I will just read the instructions. You are an economist of a leading financial institution based in India. The CEO has given you a problem statement and wants you to give short explanation with an Excel chart and substantiate the statement. So here the first statement says that women leaders are disproportionately doing a great job at handling the pandemic. Why aren't there more of them? Use the most appropriate chart to show where India stands among the nations when it comes to women in powerful positions. Okay, so now let's see what data sets we have. The Excel sheet has some data sets also. Later on, you can just see. So here, it's a very easy exercise, the most easy exercise I've given to you to just practice it. In the Excel, we have data for these countries. The source is the World Bank. So what I'll do is I'll just select, I'm just showing you a very easy chart. I will just select these columns and I will see these row headings. I think this is the most important. This one is the most relevant one. This Okay, I will go to insert. Now it has even become easier. At my time, I had to actually think what chart to put in. Now it's just that you have to put, just a minute. Selecting it again. So here after, I hope you all are getting it. I will repeat. I just selected the country's data, and then the data chart which I wanted to show, which is the proportion of seats held by women in national parliament, because the question asked me, where does India stand in terms of representation? So this is the most relevant data. I've just took both of these data. Then I went to insert in the Excel tab, and then this recommended charts. If you don't have this latest version of Excel, just go for a bar graph directly. Here I've just selected this. You have so many ideas to show how you want to show the data. The most easy one is the bar chart. Here it is, and now you can just see this is the basic bar graph chart. You can see, you can play with it. Just right click on it. If you want to add data labels, just add the data labels. If you want to remove the axis, change the axis, do anything, just go into the change series type here. And now you can just play with it. If you want to convert it into a line graph, see here, you can do it in a line graph. And many other things can be done. Just what my purpose here is to make you inquisitive enough so that you go back and open this Excel and play with it. Just right click on it, format data series. Here you can change the axis if you want to change the color, you want to add something. All of this can be done here. It's a very easy thing. You just have to break the inertia of using Excel and get into it. Other things can be done from insert, and here are very different sort of graphs. I am not sure what is the level of Excel you guys are using. This is the most basic one. I think 11, 12 students would also use this much. I don't know if I have time or not. Sir, I think, is it enough or should I show something else? I will leave these questions to them. Maybe these are very easy ones.
Okay.
Okay, I will leave the questions in this exercise. You guys compile a document, make a small report of this, and I will ask your editorial board to submit some few of the best reports, and then I'll talk to the person whoever gets the best reports. So this exercise, I leave it to you. I think I'm formally done with the presentation now. I've spoken enough. I want you guys to speak now. This is our blog which I wrote about my economic services preparation. If anybody is interested, all the resources and everything about my journey has been mentioned here. You can just note it down and open it. Apart from that, I would just ask you to now ask me questions, whatever you want, and I'll just stop the sharing.
Okay, guys, any questions? Diksha?
Even comments, how was the session, what could have done, anything you want to tell, just ask whoever wants to.
First of all, thank you, ma'am, for giving such extensive insight on use of data. And many of us are here to know about your journey of becoming an IES officer. So if you could tell us what are the skills and other elements required that one should start working on from college itself, and how Gargi played a role in your journey.
Okay. Thank you for the question, Diksha. I think Gargi played a huge role. First, I'll come with my preparation journey. So after my college, I went to Delhi School of Economics for masters, and after that, I prepared for a year for administrative services as well as economic services. I gave prelims, did not clear prelims. The same year, I cleared economic services. So I would say that honestly, I did not put in a lot of effort for economic services, per se, but because I was very much good with the subject since my graduation days. So a lot of people used to just study 2 days before the session and they used to just pass, कि बस pass करने के लिए. I was not one of those students. I would be very clear about it. Siddharth sir will also share some light on that. But I used to love the subject, honestly. So मतलब मैं पढ़ती थी, काफी पढ़ती थी, चिल करती थी काफी फ्रेंड्स के साथ, बट पढ़ती भी थी. तो मतलब गार्गी में तो ऐसे ही हुआ था, even masters also. So it was not just a journey of 1 year that I gave a lot in studying, but it was more of a 5-year investment into the subject, which led to a good rank in the service. And now finally I'm sitting with you guys. So that way, this has been my journey, that I've always been very updated with whatever was going on. That is why I wanted to take this session also and tell you at a personal level that I'm not, whatever I've told you, I've done that on my own in the graduation level. And Siddharth sir, Ganesh sir, and the other faculty was very helpful to me during my college days. So I used to read newspapers, discuss it with them, used to make a lot of projects with friends. So whatever I've been telling you guys, I've already done that. So that's why I'm sharing my experience. So, and Gargi, how it played a role was, okay, so I would say that one constant mentor which I have had from Gargi was Siddharth sir. Day one, he was in our class and like he was always there for my, especially for my UPSC journey. So that way, plus I think overall the faculty is amazing. They're not just looking for you to pass and have good marks. They're actually putting so much effort for you guys. So that way, I think my overall personality grew a lot in Gargi. That helped me a lot. I was a part of a lot of societies also. I mean, I was a part of NSS. I was the vice president. So there were many things which helped me to build my personality. So that was what Gargi played a role. That is why I was very happy to interact with the Gargi students. It's very good to come back. I will come back to the college also once the lockdown gets over. I'll come back. Thank you so much, Palak. I'm getting so many comments. Any other question if you want to have?
Can you also share your journey in Morgan Stanley for the people who want to work in corporate later?
Yeah, so for that, I'll be very brief because I would ask you to read it in detail on my blog. It's there, how I cleared the interview of the service and what was my job experience. But in short, I always wanted to get into government, honestly. But after writing my mains, I thought that instead of just presuming about a private sector, I should also at least give it a try. And it was a wonderful experience. I really learned a lot while working with Morgan Stanley. And I had like 7 interviews. If you ask me about the interview process, it was very rigorous. After DSC, I had given a written exam, a written report also, and then multiple interviews, but I landed up there. So it was good. I mean, if you want to have some skills, what you can do is whatever I've told you in terms of data and all, if you have this basic knowledge, the profile of an economist will be very much open for you. You'll get easily into it, I'll say.
That's
Thank
really
you so
helpful
much
for
for
people who want to work in. Yes, and now I'd request Vaishnavi to take up questions from the audience.
Ma'am, Harshita Singh has posted a question in the chat box.
Yeah.
Which newspaper is better for data analysis, Mint or Business Standard?
I would say that if you want to read a newspaper, go for Business Standard. Make one newspaper your base. So what I do is I have Business Standard as my basic newspaper, which is the base of it. Then what I do is I keep on having news from Mint and Economic Times on my phone. So I have both these apps on my phone. And for the analysis part, even Mint has some very amazing articles and analysis, but it's a very bulky newspaper. So go for Business Standard, make one newspaper as your base and keep on adding new things from the other apps. This is what you can do.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. By the time, if anyone has a question, they can post it in the chat box. I would like to ask a question to you, ma'am. Just now we were talking about the newspapers and how to sort out the information that they get. So my question is the same because we like I have an inclination towards politics also, so I try to follow that part as well, and many other news that we come across daily. So how can we really sort out and understand the crux or what we want from the different economics news that we get alongside the other daily news?
Okay, so I used to read the Hindu and my graduation days. I've never read heavy economic newspapers. That I started doing after my masters. But at the graduation level, see, first of all, while reading the newspaper, some few tips I would say is whenever you have a newspaper with you, do not get distracted with the local news and there are so many distractions in the newspaper. Keep a pen in your hand. This can be a good practice. Just tick the important articles. Just take 5 minutes, browse through the full newspaper, tick the important articles in the 5 minutes, in the initial 5 minutes, and then just stick with it. Do not read that somebody got like some bus got drowned in some river and all that. That's not needed. You don't need to know all of that if you just want to stick with the economics news and the political news. So that can be one practice. Other is that don't go for a very economics heavy newspaper if you want to keep updating yourself with other things as well. For economics heavy things, you can download the apps, and for the overall news, you can go for Indian Express or the Hindu sort of newspapers. That will be more helpful for you. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So next we have a few more questions. First from Priyal Kishore. She's asking if you have any suggestions that you could give for the first years.
Okay. So first year, I remember my first year. मैंने पूरा first year, mostly I was so homesick during my first year. Did not focus a lot what is going on in the college. Did not focus on. But you guys are like you are at home and enjoying your first years there. But I would say that that's the time when you can actually invest in the subject at the base and develop the interest. Skills can be taken up in the second and third year mostly, but first year can be mostly given to the subject. Just understand what it is and focus on how much do you like it, because maybe third year तक आते आते बहुत अच्छा लगे या ऐसा लगे कि छोड़ दो अब नहीं करना. So first year में just try to understand the subject pretty well. That would be just one suggestion. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. I had the same issue with being homesick also, so I can relate to that. So next question is from Ayushi Agarwal. She's asking what all things we have to keep in mind to get into DSE.
Okay, so for DSE there are two things. First is that you have an entrance exam. Second is you get through it on merit basis. I don't know if how many of you are aware of it or not. A lot of people are not aware that you can get through DSE from merit also. So keep your grades in your college best. I mean, this is what my approach was. Honestly, I had good grades in my 3 years and I got through DSE through my merit. Entrance is another game. You have to prepare for it and you have to work very hard for it. I mean, you can do it that as well, but I am not the right person because I'm not given the entrance. I directly cleared it. So I'll ask you to read about the blogs, and there are so many preparation guidelines if somebody wants to prepare for DSE. Other than that, if you're in first and second year, so you can focus on your grades. That will be my suggestion. I mean, you can directly get through it, and it's not tough. A lot of people from Gargi got through in my batch. That was the first time economics was there in our college. So it was very good. I mean, you can get through it from the college itself.
The next session, guys, that we are going to have is on DSE and ISI prep only. So don't worry about it. The next talk that we'll have will specifically focus on Delhi School of Economics entrance mode, and ISI in any case has an entrance. So Nikita has been fortunate that just before that year merit mode was introduced, whereas we were the unfortunate batches. I'm from the 2009 DSE batch, so we had to write the entrance. Anyways, I would not have made it through the merit batch. I had a very poor percentage in college. So So you need to, one way, the easier way is probably keep your grades up, especially from your first semester. Later on in life, in second or third, especially after your second semester, your third semester, it's difficult to basically recover if you have a poor first year. So start from the day one. That is my probably input into it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ma'am, if I may ask a follow-up question relating to DSC, because I have come across a lot of people having written in Quora and all that DSC syllabus is very difficult. So how did you deal with it?
Okay, so don't get scared of DSC, but I would still say that DSC was more difficult than the UPSC preparation. I can give more attempts in UPSC, but DSC I cannot. I will never want to go back. That is a personal thing. Don't take it. I'm just being very honest with you. So I have cried in DSC, and Siddharth sir knows it. I used to call him after the exams, and it was a nightmare for me. But I passed, and I've like just got all the grades in place and got out of that place. I don't want to go back ever, but it does make you resilient. It does make you. I think I was able to survive UPSC preparation. I was able to survive Morgan Stanley pressure and everything because I had done DSC. So that way, it's an amazing place to be. And it does matter that you are from DSC. It does matter. Even now, people are like, okay, ES ठीक है, but DSC से हो क्या? मतलब वो होता है. So that's there. So yeah, that's a different place to be, and it's a worth being placed there. Don't get scared. It might be scary. It is scary also, but it's worth it. So prepare for it if you want to.
So Nikita has said both things. Don't get scared, but it is scary as well.
It is scary, but you have to like put in your. You have to just face it. That's it.
I'll just add to this. It's easier to get into D school than get out of it. I'll give you a statistic for that.
Yes.
In 2007, when I got into D school, there were 150 of us who got selected. And in 2009, only 56 of us passed out of that particular batch. So you can probably imagine that the failure they have an unsaid rule that 50% of students will fail. So
Yes.
if you pass out of D school, that's an achievement in itself.
You guys are asking me how to get into it. I must tell you, it's very easy to get into D school. It's very difficult to get out of D school with a degree. It's a very difficult task. So it is easy to get into. I mean, once you get into there, then you get to know it. But the same statistics hold in my batch also. There were 250 of us, and I think only 100 something people got their degrees in 2 years. Rest of them were trying. So that does happen.
Okay, thank you for that insight, ma'am. Now we have one more question from Paribha Vashisht. What does your day-to-day work entail as an Indian Economic Services officer?
That's a very interesting question, but it will be too early to answer that because I am on my probation right now. That is, I am in my training. So I day to day, it's my classes going on. Right now, I'm in Mussoorie. But overall, what we do is that it's more of policy making, which we do as in Indian Economic Services. So there are these monthly economic report which I showed you initially, which was being done by the IES officers. Apart from that, the budget making process, these bigger policies which are coming into the realm, all these are actually made by some economic officers. So there are many AS officers also, some different officers, but wherever there is economic analysis needed, many economic officers are working there. State economic advisors also. Recently, there have been some economic diplomats as well. So India-US economic diplomats from the economic services. So there are many avenues which are coming. There are RBI representatives. There are IMF, World Bank representatives, World Trade Organization representatives, which are coming from the economic services. So in the public domain, there is not much available about the service, I agree, because maybe because of the number of seats or maybe because of the interest, it's very specialized, so very less people have interest in it. But to read more about it, I think you go onto the IES website and you will have a lot to know from there. My source of information is also the IES website. I'll be able to talk more about it once I actually get posted somewhere. after the training. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. As of now, we have these many questions only. So if anyone else have any questions, they can either post it in the chat box or unmute yourself and speak up.
Okay. I would just ask you guys to do the exercise if you want to. I mean, anyway, you would be getting bored in the lockdown. So, but thank you so much for the session. I think I'll just wrap it up. I had this 4:30 tak ka time, so I'll just wrap it up. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I have seen your comments, but I'm still I'm happy to see the comments, and I'm still hoping that I was helpful to you. Thank you so much for this. We'll keep meeting again if anytime anything is needed. That's
Can
it,
we
I
have the
guess.
vote of thanks?
Yes, Shreya, please take up the space.
Sure, sure.
We can have a picture also. Some people have turned on their videos.
Yeah, guys, if you can open up your videos and then we can probably have a picture and then we can have the vote of thanks. Hold on, let me have a picture. Okay, guys, I have the picture with me.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, can we have the vote of thanks, please?
Yes, sir. Okay, so conclusively, ma'am, on behalf of the entire Economics Association, we thank you for your precious time and valuable insights. These numbers and charts that we discussed about today, we come across them on a very regular basis, not only in our textbooks, but also in newspapers, editorials, and other reference material we use. And so it becomes really important for us to make sense out of these numbers as economics students. So I think I say this on behalf of the entire student body that there was a lot to take away from this session in terms of finding a way to understanding the practicalities behind economics and behind these numbers. So thank you so much for this insightful afternoon and the reality checks and just sharing your experiences. I'm sure it struck the chord with the fellow aspirants and others around here. We hope to cross paths with you for our future endeavors. Loads of gratitude and help to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I would just wish you luck for your future endeavors and keep safe in the corona times. That's it. I will want to meet you guys also whenever if I get a chance to come. And also, I would say I would thank Siddharth sir. He has been guiding all one-on-one year batches every year and mentoring so many of us. Thank you so much, sir. Not just for inviting me, but in general. Thank you.
You're most welcome, and you still have to pay the UPSC from my side. You know that.
I know. I'll try.
Sure.
Okay.
Guys.
See you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining in. But before you leave, a feedback form will be circulated. Please fill in the form. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Guys from the first year, just a second. Guys from the first year, I'm sending you another link. I wanted to discuss the GEs with you. So just sending you a link on your group. That's exclusively for first year GEs. Okay, guys. Sure. Okay. See you in 5 minutes.